Okay, here we are again. Again, I say that because this is the second attempt at recording this video. Uh, my wife started knocking and asking all kinds of questions, just household stuff. But uh, I'm new to all this stuff, and OBS, you got to enable the pause function. So it didn't have the pause function up because I had it on the same as streaming, which is the default. And while I am learning DaVinci Resolve, I can't really do, like right now, I haven't learned any of the splicing of the videos. I'm still just looking at workspaces and things. Just started that. So I'm going to have to uh, kind of pantomime this part, revisit it because I've already did that part. It's kind of like the when the television chef pops the thing in the oven and then pulls out one that's been baking for half an hour to move it along. I'm going to use the Lamy Safari pen again today. Nothing wrong with the other pens. That's what I use. It's kind of part of a daily driver for me, but just something new for me and or different. And you know, it is convenient to have the beveling here uh, on there. It's got the little surfaces for you to grab, which is awful nice. Uh, the nib still feels a little scratchy. Now Lamy makes very high quality nibs, so it's not a brand thing at all. Uh, I may need to just like polish that. You can polish a nib with really, 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 really fine emery paper, abrasive sandpaper, but it's super like 15,000. Uh, so I wouldn't suggest just going out and uh, taking an abrasive to your nib. Now this is a real cheap nib, so inexpensive nib, inexpensive pen. So I can, you know, could probably do something like that. But there's no reason to damage the pen, and it feels fine. It's just maybe the tooth of the how it's catching the tooth of the paper. But let's go ahead and start. I am using the blue ink. I generally prefer black ink. That's a totally personal preference. Um, but I do prefer it. Blue, you know, you need that for some legal documents like real estate document signatures. I think to separate it from the black and get a blue ink signature for, you know, just so that you know, it won't photocopy on a black and white correctly and that kind of thing. Uh, uh, um, you know, but that's kind of tradition. But I do prefer the black again, just personal. But there is I have other colors I like. There's a wide variety of colors, and that's a whole rabbit hole. So we're going to be doing the verticals, lower cases right here. Uh, J has a descender, which is always interesting because it's kind of it's one of those you're sort of off piste a little bit, and you're sort of out of the border, which gives you less guidance, you know, of what you can do there. So that's a matter of building a muscle memory for that. L, hey, it's just a line. What could go wrong, right? That can be challenging just because, you know, it's the simplicity of it. You're sort of exposed. Uh, all your flaws are exposed. I do have my um, cant to the paper. I do have it on an angle. How did I miss that? Now I'm already starting to feel. Now I've warmed up a little bit because this is the second take, so I was probably at it for almost 15 minutes, 12 minutes. Uh, and at this early stage of writing, I'm going to get cramped up. Uh, I mean, I can feel the muscular stress. A lot of it has to do with the death grip. You know, you can kind of even see right there if it gets kind of, you know, you don't need to grip it as hard as one would think. You just grab it. But gripped, if you've ever done any, mountain biking or motorcycles or, a number of sports where when you feel unsafe, you'll grip, you know, you'll strengthen your grip and try to hold on tighter. But you wind up losing fine muscle. You're exhausting yourself and losing fine muscular control when you do that. Um, I have heard now, grain of salt here, that you hear that primates are much stronger than humans. Uh, and while it's apparently true in a way, uh, from what I understand, uh, is that, remember we got alternatives there, is that they have kind of all fast twitch and they fire all the muscles at once. So they're recruiting all the muscle fibers at one time. Um, and while they have super gross motor skills, where the trade-off is the fine motor skills that they still can manipulate pretty well, but maybe not as well as humans. Uh, and that's the trade-off there. Again, grain of salt. It's what I've heard. I did hear it from I didn't hear it from the bar. I remember reading it in something that was fairly reputable. But even then, uh, I had a friend in the '90s who, a neuroscientist who was studying kind of food and addiction and things, and wrote a research paper on reward pathways and that your opiates like heroin, use some of the same pathways as food reward for like hamburgers and things. And so the press, yes, even the uh, reputable press got a hold of it and condensed it to scientist proves that hamburgers are as addictive as heroin. So he spent probably, I don't know, 18 months. Oh, I mean, not full time, but spent 18 months having to go on panel shows and radio interviews and stuff. Sometimes with that guy, the Super Size Me guy, uh, that just on the same panel or the same kind of interview about food addiction, saying, "No, I did not say that hamburgers are as addictive as heroin. I just said that there's reward pathways in common." And that annoyed the ever loving crap out of them, understandably. Now, I still use that, don't have to do it, and I don't know if I'll ever break that habit of putting that little serif on the Z. And I like the way it looks. I'll admit it. I like the way it looks better. A little more finished, feels to me. And it gives me a starting and stopping place where the Z with just the line is kind of a squiggle line. So I think it helps me with my discipline. W's are interesting. W's didn't quite get right on top of that. But, you got to match that peak height and trying to keep that width the same. Uh, is has some difficulty. A challenge, not a difficulty. That one's a little wiggly. Yeah, so I've got a lot to learn about video production, huh? Little that's narrow, and that really shows. Uh, I mean, I don't even know the basics of editing. Seems like at least the Microsoft products, they always, they had for a while a very, very basic editor like the Paint or Notepad of video editing. Maybe they still do, but it seems like it was deprecated and kind of pushed off. You just can't grab it. And the same thing with sound recorder. They had a very basic sound recorder, but if they just had a little micro word processor like Note or Notepad or one of those for video, and I mean, and I think you can still get it from the Microsoft store, but I think they absorbed another company that was making something. But yeah, a nice little editor would be nice. If anybody has any thoughts on that, that would be helpful, just for stitching together videos, removing parts or merging videos or that kind of thing. Sort of, copy paste type stuff. Um, M is hard for a lot of people. Hard, not just making it pretty is is the is a challenge for people, or not even a challenge, but and M's an interesting one because I think of the hump there, the curve. You're very linear and you're curvy, which is kind of what some of these are right here. All the H's, the R's, and the M's, and the N's. We get a straight line with a curve. This is just part of that same arc. Uh, H H can be, but again, the same problem as with the M. It's kind of an extended N. You can get your weird humpy dumpies going on. And it's that kind of slightly radical pull off there. But and that retrace, it's so easy to retrace kind of off and have it really sort of open up um, sort of be a faux pull off that way. So we'll just work on that. My voice does get quieter when I do this. That will go away. Um, it's getting used to it, and two, learning to not grip so hard. So we'll just do this one page today, and I mean I know it was kind of a mega rant yesterday, or just blathering about. So that was a much longer video because it was just getting started. But I think I'm just going to do the one page, and the reason is let's keep it real simple and low buy-in. Uh, let's not make it something where we do it for a week or 10 days and then drop it because life gets in the way. That's what happened to the channel the first time. Uh, and other things take priority. And I just don't have time to devote, you know, half an hour a day or 45 minutes a day to a micro hobby. Um, you only have a certain amount of time. And let's keep it easy. And I think it'll roll as you get used to it, and as that feeling uh, of pain will go away. Not physical pain, but it's like with meditation, with some of the eyes closed meditation. Sometimes people feel achy eyes at first, or get fidgety, have a weird feeling of frustration. All I do is kind of like that R. There's that little serif on it. Uh, but at first it may feel, I guess what it feels like a chore at first. For the first few days, like it still may feel like a chore, but it will become meditative. Uh, but for now, just do about 15 minutes or so. We're going to be a little over probably, maybe 20 minutes. Uh, but again, if we just do this for like a month, you'll feel a lot better. And keep it, yep, there we go. See, you can already see it kind of falling apart. See the fine muscle control leaving? And it's a little smoother once I get even just that micro rest. A little off still. Yeah, but let's just keep it small, consistent effort. Let's just not make it a big deal. We got enough big deals. Everything's such a big deal. Like huge. I don't know if you have watched BattleBots, but there's a robot with big wheels, and it's named Huge. And the little tagline on their shirt says, the team slogan is, "We're kind of a big deal." It's cute. I haven't watched BattleBots in a while. Oh boy. Have a little sip of coffee if I can. It's gonna run us over time. What is coffee? So I guess I'll have to install an on-air light, huh? The funny thing is, my wife does a lot of teleconferences, Zoom meetings, and stuff like that. So you'd think she'd be sensitive to it, but she had to tell me something. So yeah, take a break when you need to. Yeah, even just a 10-second break. Notice there, it's kind of flat on the top, comes around, and does pretty radical uh, move there. It's not a ball and stick. I'm not saying I do it well. That's more of my aspiration. It should be an oval. It should be a radical oval. But that's not, yeah, that's not me yet. Yeah, but it's the same. See, with that turn, that little flat, aggressive turn, flat, aggressive turn. Not very good yet. Flat, aggressive turn, come down. Put a little dunker on it. A serif. Give into it. It's funny, I don't generally listen to music or anything while I do this. It is sort of a meditative practice. Ooh, that's off. I am gripped. I wonder how much of it is nerves about recording this. I don't feel a lot of recording fear, uh, at least not that I'm aware of. But that's the thing, is it kind of more of a basal fear that I don't even realize. But it's not that gulp, like Mike Fright gulp, or like you practice a piece of music 150 times, and then for whatever reason, when the record light comes on, time, space time just warps and uh, turns into who knows. Not terrible looking D's, but it doesn't have the. See, it's that they're too circular though. It's a matter of getting that one curve right. I wonder if there's a practice sheet I can find. Just that. KB, same. I'm giving you the stroke order there. Come down and come back up. Um, but it's that same basic oval shape, and they discuss it in the margins and things. You'll see that in there, just about how to do it, and they'll reiterate that. But read, these things are fun. These are the little historical things about writing. They're kind of fun. But there's also some good technique stuff in there. Like that's a little too pointy, and that's just pregnant. I'm all over the place on my bees. Up we go and around. Up we go and around. We go and around. We go and around. That's one thing. I think that's you got to watch that laziness. Close those things. Really close those things off. I think that's one of those gateways. Not closing off your circles or your closed, your ovals, your closed figures, and it it leads to a path of destruction. You know where that goes, Neo. You've been down there before. Oh dear, can't remember the exact quote. Oh, I guess I'm supposed to write bumpy. We'll get there. Got up in my head talking about stuff, not being present. Well, I do have some video editing to learn. I'm trying to do that a little bit. It's just learning the tools. Like I just found out how to hook up the pause button, so that was a learning opportunity. But I'd like to learn things before they become a problem. Not, I mean, proactively, not reactively. Oh, whoops, I put a serif on that, which is fine on that M. It's just a different style, but I think the thing is you can try to cover up basic technique flaws with fancies. Can you just do it straight ahead? Serifs have a use, which we'll discuss later. See, like that wasn't clean at all. And that, then I started talking about it in my head. Well, I think that's we're right there at about 19 minutes. So we're probably going to be about 20 minutes a page as opposed to 15, I would guess. But let's keep it small. Let's keep it 20 minutes so that we do it every day and we don't have to make a big chunk of time for it. And I really appreciate you stopping by and, continue on. I really think it's valuable. Okay. Have a great